Can you solve this odd puzzle?
The answer is very simple.
Once upon a time, there lived a king who ordered one of his courtiers to look for talented people all over the country. Wherever the courtier went, he presented a lot of puzzles to people, but there was still nobody intelligent enough to solve them.
I have been through many different places and haven't found a brilliant one yet.
One day, when the courtier passed a field, he saw a father and son plowing. The father plowed with a buffalo, while the son broke clods in tow. The courtier stopped and asked, "Farmer, how many furrows does your buffalo plow a day?" The father didn't know how to answer, when his son quickly asked the courier, "Dear sir, if you can answer me how many steps your horse takes a day, I'll let you know how many furrows my father's buffalo plows a day." The courtier was very surprised at the boy's question, and he didn't know how to answer it. He thought that the boy was a talent, and so he rode his horse back to tell the king about the boy.
Farmer, your buffalo looks plump and healthy. How many furrows does your buffalo plow a day?
Well...
Dear sir, how many steps does your horse take a day?
This boy is brilliant! He must be the one I've been looking for.
Listening to what the courtier said, the king was very happy. But he still wanted to challenge the boy more. He told the courtier,
"Give villagers 3 male buffaloes and 3 baskets of sticky rice. Order them to raise the animals so that they give birth to 9 calves. After 1 year, they must hand 9 calves over to me, or they'll be punished."
Receiving the order from the king, all the villagers were very worried about how a male buffalo could give birth to a calf. They all saw this task as a terrible disaster.
Your Highness, I have found the talented one. He is a very clever boy.
Is that really a boy? I still want to challenge him again. Let's see how he can answer this time.
Hearing the news, the boy told his father to say to the villagers that those buffaloes and sticky rice were the king's rewards, so they could cook 2 buffaloes and 2 baskets of sticky rice for a meal. There was then 1 buffalo left and 1 basket of sticky rice, for which the boy and his father asked to go and meet the king. The father said what the boy had told him to the villagers. They asked the father and son to write a warranty statement before killing the buffaloes. The next day, the boy and his dad set off to the capital.
Please, cook up those 2 buffaloes and 2 baskets of sticky rice. I would like to take the left ones with me on my way to the palace.
You should write a warranty statement so we can cook the buffaloes. That's right. Write a warranty statement for us first.
Hope that everything will be all right and we can stay out of trouble. Don't worry, my father and I can take care of this. Yay! We're going to have some meat to eat!
Arriving at the palace, the boy told his father to wait outside. When the soldiers were off their guard, the boy snuck into the courtyard and cried out loudly. The king ordered the soldiers to take the boy in and asked him why he cried. He said, "Your Highness, my mom died early and my dad doesn't give birth to a baby. I have no siblings to play with, so I cried." The king and the courtiers laughed at what the boy said.
Your father is male, so how can he give birth to a child? If you want to have a brother, you have to look for another wife for him,"
the king said. Hearing that, the boy brightened up a bit. "Why do people in my village have to raise 3 male buffaloes so that they give birth to 9 calves? It's impossible for a male to do that, isn't it?"
Little boy, why were you crying loudly in my courtyard?
Your Highness, I'm crying because my mother died early, but my dad can't have a baby, so I have no siblings to play with.
Your father is male. How can he give birth to a child?
Then why do people in my village have to raise 3 male buffaloes so they can give birth to 9 calves? It's impossible for males to do that, isn't it?
Yes, well done.
This is encouraging.
The boy is so smart.
The king and all the courtiers admired the boy's wisdom. However, the king still wanted to challenge him once more. The next day, when the boy was having lunch with his father, the king's messenger gave him a bird and ordered him to cook it into 3 trays of food. The boy asked his dad for a sewing needle and gave it to the messenger, saying, "Please tell the king to make a knife from this needle for me. I'll use it to kill and cook the bird." Only when the king got the needle, he completely admired the boy. He immediately called the boy and his father into the palace and rewarded them generously.
Little boy, the king ordered you to cook this bird into 3 trays of food.
Please tell the king to make a knife from this needle for me. I'll use it to kill and cook the bird.
At that time, another country sent an ambassador with a hollow shell in order to spy on them and see if there was talent in the king's kingdom. The ambassador created a riddle on how to put a thread through the shell. Knowing the purpose of the visit, all the courtiers just looked at each other. Having no answer to the puzzle meant the kingdom wasn't as strong as the neighboring country. All the courtiers tried to think of the answer. One suggested sucking the shell, while the other suggested waxing the thread to put it through the shell more easily. However, none of the ideas worked. Finally, the court had to invite the ambassador to stay at the guest house temporarily, so that they had time to consult the smart boy.
Your Highness, my puzzle is how to put this thread through a hollow shell.
Courtiers, help me solve this puzzle. Let me suck it.
We should put some wax on the thread to make it solid.
The king ordered a courtier to go to the boy when he was playing behind his house. After hearing the courtier present the puzzle of the ambassador, the boy said nothing, but instead just sang a song. Tin tang tang, tin tang tang, catch a big ant and tie a thread to its back. Grease the end of the shell to attract the ant. Tin tang tang. After finishing the song, the boy said to the courtier, "Do it that way, and the thread will go through the shell."
The puzzle of the ambassador is to put a thread through a hollow shell.
Tin tang tang, tin tang tang, catch a big ant and tie a thread to its back. Grease the end of the shell to attract the ant. Tin tang tang.
The courtier hurriedly came back to tell the king. The king and all the other courtiers were very happy to listen to what the boy had said. As expected, the ant threaded the shell in front of the ambassador, who was completely convinced. The king made the boy the first doctoral candidate and built him a castle at one side of the palace to make it convenient for the king to consult the boy. Not only did the smart boy answer a lot of difficult questions from the king, but he also helped the court solve a puzzle from the neighboring country's ambassador. Do you want to be intelligent like the boy in the story? Study hard. Keep exploring and discovering the world around you to be smart and helpful. Goodbye, and see you again soon.
Your kingdom surely has talent.
Ha ha! You are being overpraised. Any kid in my kingdom can solve this puzzle.
Open round.
Little cottage. The children were like the two rose trees in front of the cottage.